Hi, everyone. I'm Julia. I recently transitioned into the role of strategic customer success manager. I'm super excited to be working more closely with our customers and also to get to know some new faces here today. And joining me, we have Selena from my team. She's also a customer success manager. She'll be monitoring the chat throughout the session. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat or the Q&A section. Selena will answer them throughout the call, but we'll also take some time at the end of the presentation to go through any questions live. She can call out any that she thinks are worth having more of a discussion around, but you guys can also send more questions at the end. All right, so going through our agenda today, what we are doing is looking into a powerful feature in Teambridge, client access. And some people call it facility access, but really it's a limited access for your clients, for your facilities to be able to use Teambridge in a way that really benefits your business. The capability allows them to take on key scheduling, approval tasks, like assigning shifts and reviewing payroll, which will free up time for your team to focus on scaling and strategic growth. But before we get into that, what we're going to do is talk about what is Teambridge, and then we'll go into why to use client access and what clients can do with this access. Then I'll go through a live demo and kind of walk through some of the ways that you could utilize this and things that we've set up, and then we'll pop into Q&A. All right, getting into what is Teambridge. Some of you might be newer to Teambridge and just getting started, so we're just going to cover the big picture here. Teambridge allows everything you'd expect from your workforce management system, like scheduling and team chat, with two game-changing differentiators. One, it's mobile first, so you can see this on the left. The founders grew the Uber driver app to 4 million users, so they know how to attract, engage, and retain staff. Teambridge's staff experience looks, feels, and performs like a consumer-grade mobile app. And then on the right here are other differentiators that it's composable. Instead of burdening you with rigid systems, Teambridge shapes to your business. You can format your data, customize its interface, and automate your processes. And as a result, you can scale what makes your business unique while slashing operation costs and boosting revenue. And what we're going to go through today is really focused kind of on this website. I will actually be playing multiple parts throughout our demo. One, we will be acting as an employee with the mobile app, and then I will show you the super admin access as well as the client access, which are both going to be the web version here. In the mobile app, providers or employees can pick up shifts, clock in, view pay, communicate with admin, and then a bunch of other things in here. All right, getting into why to use client access. There are a lot of benefits, and this slide really highlights some of those key reasons our customers love this feature. Less internal admin overhead. We actually have some customers that are able to operate without internal schedulers because they've really pushed out client access to so many of their locations, and all of the shifts just get added in by those client users. With this, you can grow your business by freeing up time to focus on expansion. This will allow for smarter workflows that eliminate approval delays, reduce costly errors through streamlined, consistent processes, and then faster client turnaround. Your shifts can get filled quicker. You also can beat your competitors with faster placement, and it also is going to provide a better caregiver experience and higher fill rates. So really, it's about speed, it's about efficiency, and really just like giving your internal team some space. And what can clients do? So let's walk through how client access works and what your clients can actually do inside of Teambridge. They can add shifts directly into the system, approve or reject assignees for shifts. So those are going to be shift requests that people make. They'll be able to see those and can approve or deny any of those that come through. They can also view staff credentials and then bulk download those credentials into a packet if they want. All of this we will demo today. Additionally, they can cancel shifts. They can also see any on-time or late arrival notifications that come through from your employees, and they can approve completed shifts or payroll processing. This is all stuff we will walk through, and I also want to be very clear that like these are things that you can turn on or off. You don't have to set all of this up, and you can manipulate the permissions that you give your clients within the system. Additionally, at the end of a shift, they can rate the staff, and with that, you can help them set up any DNR processes that you would like. All right, let's go ahead and switch gears. I'll show you how you can enable client access with customized permissions within your account. A lot of the functionality you're going to see today is controlled by access groups. This allows us to permission your client users in a way where they only have access to certain data within your account. Not only does this mean only the shift at their location, but you can also just give them access to users who've requested shifts, for example. And we aren't going to get into access groups today, but that is something that your CSM or implementation manager can work with you on. So what we'll do is we'll go through a few key workflows to help you get started quickly. All right, let's exit this. Like I said, I'm going to be popping in and out of a couple of different profiles within here today. So what we're going to start with is actually the super admin view. So in here, what we've done is we've set up an entire section here that is called client access. So we really kind of set this up for your clients. And then on the client side, when they log in, they will only be able to see the data that is related to the location that they have on their profile. So this whole section here is what your client user will see. We'll pop into the client usage here. So over here, you can see this is a limited view, and this is really what I was saying about those access groups. That's how we control what they see in here. So you can see we have today's shifts, we have the schedule, shift requests. They can do payroll approval in here, any rating details, and then we also gave them access to just all shifts within the system that pertain to their location. So what we'll start on today, I want to show you how they can add a shift to the schedule. So we can see here, this is this week. This is everything that Alameda Hospital has. If I wanted to go in and add a new shift, you can see I only have that one location because that's the one on my profile. I can set up the schedule time here. Let's do May 1st. All right. I can select which role I need for this position. So if it's an MRI tech, CBOR tech, do that. And then that's really all I need to do. A lot of this is visibility in here because this is how I've set it. You can go ahead and save that shift. So now that has been posted. Within this section here. So let's pop back over to this week. What I can see here is all the different statuses on these shifts. So I can see that these are unfilled. These are shifts that someone is late to right now. And then I can see all my upcoming shifts as well as ones where people are currently logged in or those that have been completed. Excuse me. All right, so if we come in here, some other functionality that we have in the shifts themselves is we can actually cancel a shift. And you can give this ability to your client users. So we've set up a custom field here. I can go ahead and say, okay, Friday, April 18th, I don't need this one anymore. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that shift. So I can save that here. And I'll show you with our automations, I've actually set it on the super admin side so that when a facility user cancels a shift, we can unpublish that, send an alert to the assignee on the shift and let them know their shift has been canceled. So we'll walk through that. Additionally, something that you can do here is you can set rules basically around if they've canceled within 2 hours or within 4 hours of the start time, you can actually bill them for 4 hours of that shift through our pay rules. All right, so let's switch over. I want to show you the shift request section. So let's say I posted a shift for later in this week. We can come in here and see who is requesting these shifts. And just so you guys know, I am Bob Smith. I will be demoing that in the employee mobile app. So in here, I can see that this is the April 25th shift. Bob wants to pick this up. I can click into that shift if I wanted to see more details on it. Additionally, I can actually come in here and see details on Bob. So in here, I've just given access to the basic details on him, but we can see documents. So in here, I have his nurse license, CPR, TB, and driver's license. Let's say, for example, I need to download this into a packet. I can select all of those, hit download, and I can either download as a zip file or merge the files. And I can actually change the order of these here. Let's go ahead and download that. And show you here, this is the packet that we have just generated. And these are the documents that are in the system. So I'll show you what those look like. You can also view them directly in here if that's something that you wanted to do. So we have that. All right. So the next thing we want to go through is canceling. And Oh, we went through canceling, so we're good there. But as far as the credentialing, something that we can do is you could give them access to all users if you wanted to and have them be able to view the credentials that way. But we do have some customers where they really prefer that the client users don't actually have access to their Rolodex of users. So this is one way to kind of hide people until you're ready to allow them to see the credentials. One other thing I want to show is you can actually access them from the schedule as well. So if we come in here, we can see we've got Reese Witherspoon on a shift. She was a no-show. We can click into here and see her details as well. All right, so let's go ahead and pop back into that super admin view. So in here, I'm going to show you the automations that we kind of spoke through. And I've named our automations client access so that we were able to quickly see them here, but this is a nice functionality within your automations. You can search and find the kind of category that you're looking for. So one thing I wanted to talk through a bit more is on the shift request approvals or denials, you can set up different rules here, and we have customers that kind of go one way or the other. One example is that you could have when someone claims a shift, if their tier is gold and if the client does not approve them within 2 hours, you can go ahead and approve the shift for them. With that, we've set up an automation that sends out to the client and says there's a gold tier assignee that has been placed, and we give them details of that shift here. On the flip side of that, you can actually reject shift requests after a certain amount of time. So we have some customers that really want to push the speed of accepting or denying shift requests. So if someone has put in a shift request 6 hours after they still have not been approved or denied, we can reject that. And we can add that action here, deny the shift request, and then we can send a notification to the client telling them that the request has been removed because 6 hours have passed. Please make sure that you are attending the shift request in a timely manner. All right. So the next one I want to go through here is the cancellation flow. I showed you that you can hit that client cancellation. So what we would do on the back end is if you want to give them the access to this, we would go ahead and unpublish and archive that shift, and then also send an SMS to the assignee, letting them know that the shift has been canceled by the facility, and then asking them to please go back into the Teambridge app and request another shift. All right. Going back into the client view, I want to walk through kind of the process here, and then we're also going to open up the Teambridge app here from the employee perspective. So you can see here, Bob, he's 19 minutes late for his shift. You can go ahead and open this up. Let's go down here. One of the things that we can set up is a request for an ETA from your employees. And you could ask them, hey, it looks like you're 15 minutes late for your shift. Please come in here and update your ETA. And I can say, I'm going to be here within 15 minutes. Go ahead and save that value. He's on his way. He's going to be here soon. One of the automations that we can set up is to actually notify the client when someone is on their way. So we have 10 minutes after the start time, the clock in time is empty. Request that the assignee put in their ETA. And then from there, when the ETA is updated, we can set these for all the different kind of options there. If they're coming within 15 minutes, we will let them know that the late worker is on the way. Other things that you can do is in that dropdown, we have an option for, I'm not on my way, I can't make it. That's something where you can set up an automation to basically let the client know they're not on their way. If you want to repost the shift and remove the assignee, we can make that all automated within the system. All right. So let's go ahead and act as Bob. We're going to come in here. We will clock into our shift that we are late for. We'll let that run. And I'm going to go ahead and take us back into that client view. So in here, if we go into today's shifts, I can see that we have some upcoming shifts, some ongoing, and we can see that Bob Smith just clocked in at 10:20 Pacific time. We can also see any of those late shifts, no-showed, and then the ones that I have canceled. Additionally, you can see any completed shifts for the day as well. Some other nice things that you can do in here is once your user completes shifts, we can come into payroll approval And this is something that you can set up of having your clients actually do the payroll approvals for you on shifts. So we have the last pay period, any that are pending, any that are approved, and then the current pay period pending and approved as well. So if we come in here and look at this shift, I can see the details of it. I can see when he clocked in and out. We can go ahead and flip that to approved. On the super admin side, what that does is it actually approves the payroll, so the actual payroll process here. It's going to flip it over. And again, this is something that you can either set or not. If you want to give them that access, when someone approves it, change the payroll status to approved. All right, and I can just doing a time check. We're almost wrapped up here. Something else that you can do on these shifts is you can actually rate the users. So let's say, for example, Ben Affleck came into Alameda Hospital. We had him today. He's already clocked out, and maybe it was just a terrible time. We could rate him a 1 here. You could also rate him a 5, but we're going to go through the 1 flow here. So I'm going to give him a 1 rating. So what happens then is you have the option to DNR someone if they give a 1 rating, and you can also ask your client for more details here. So I can say, hey, it looks like you gave a 1 rating. Let's send a notification. Please fill out more details. And we've created rating details within the system. One of the things we ask there is, do you want to DNR them? If the answer is yes, then we can remove the Alameda location from that user so that they can no longer pick up shifts there. And the last thing I want to highlight here is the rating details. So I can see this has been created for Ben Affleck, a 1 star. I can see the shift that we did this on, and then we can give this rating. Didn't. And then we can say, yes, let's DNR this person, and he will no longer have access to Alameda. All right. I think that wraps us up, and it looks like we have a few minutes left here. As you can see, Teambridge's full composability allows you to mold it to your own business needs, streamlining your back office operations and bringing everything together in one modern, easy-to-use platform. Incorporating client access can really lighten the lift on your internal team and accelerate your staffing processes. If you want assistance setting these up, we can actually do that with you. So you can reach out to your customer success manager. And then we have a link, I think, that we're going to drop in the chat. So let's go ahead and pull that up. Here we go. And we'll throw that in the chat so you guys can click into that. But for those of you that are not yet Teambridge users, we can chat more about how to improve your efficiency and reduce any costly errors. So you can schedule a time to meet through the same link, and we will help handle that. And then we will send that out in the email after this call as well. So I do want to take a moment to open up for any questions. And if you have any, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Selena, maybe you can come off mute, highlight any questions that have been asked up to this point.
Only one question so far, and that's whether you can send an SMS to your client users as well. The answer is yes. You can do that from the same automation that you would send the email. You can also send a feed message or any combination of the 3.
Perfect. Looks like someone asked if we can get the recording. Yes, absolutely. We are going to send out this recording after we are wrapped up here. Perfect. All right, we'll give a couple more minutes if anyone has any questions, but otherwise, I just want to say thank you for joining. We're excited to continue doing these webinars, and yeah, hope you enjoyed them. If you have any feedback, please feel free to send it over to us as well.
Looks like we have a
yeah, perfect. Okay, can the client go in and increase the rate for ER shifts? So one thing that you really have permissions around this if you want them to be able to, like, potentially, let's say that like a shift hasn't been filled yet and there's 2 hours before the shift, you want to bump it and give it a higher pay rate. You can give your clients the ability to switch a toggle on the shift. You can say like, hey, it's like sudden savior. The shift is about to happen. And you can set pay rules that both increase the pay rate and the bill rate. I will say usually our customers do not want to give direct pay rate access to the client users. But you can set up different things like that. And also, I see that you say ER shifts here. You can set a toggle on the shift that says ER. And that's something where you could just have an entire like pay rule. So any ER shift is going to get that different pay rate. Any limitations on document storage pertaining to credentialing? I think I'm assuming this question has to do with the size of a document, but essentially no. You should be able to import any size of document. You can do a PDF. You can also do images. Okay, storage limits. No, not that I'm aware of. I have not run into that at all, but we can also double check on that. Will TB ever create an HR side? If you could dive into that a little bit more, that'd be helpful. We do have different functionality for like onboarding and applicant tracking. There are different things that we can set up within here. I don't know exactly what this pertains to. Oh, will there ever be a direct path from job boards to onboarding? Yes, that is the goal. We don't have a direct path right now from job boards, but that is something that is on the roadmap. And I think that is specifically, I think the initial one is with Indeed. Oh, I love this one. Have you partnered with any same-day pay companies? This is a great question. We are actually building our own instant pay. So that's something, maybe we do a whole webinar on that, but that's something we're super excited about. Our team is building it currently. So that will be out later this year. Will there ever be a QuickBooks integration? We do actually have a QuickBooks integration, excuse me. And that works with QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop. We do have a export that you can use to import into QuickBooks Desktop. If you are a current client, then we are happy to set that up with you. If you are a prospect, someone that is looking into Teambridge, we're happy to go through that some more and demo what that looks like. So the question here is, do you have a setup to handle extended contracts? The answer is yes. So that's actually a very fun demo to go through. We'd love to do that with you. It is our jobs and placements. So we can walk through what that looks like both on the web version and then what that looks like in the mobile experience, because that is a bit different than picking up shifts, but there is a whole process for extended contracts. All right. Looks like we're coming up at the half hour, but again, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has joined. I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions after this that you think of, go ahead and you can reach out to us.